Hutchinson, Wichita.
Have you always dreamed of having a beautiful water garden in your yard, but don't know how to get started? Well, tonight we're going to actually show you how to get started, and so stay tuned for the Sunflower Gardener when we talk about water gardens. First, we want to take a few minutes to talk about water gardening. Water gardens are becoming more and more popular these days. Let's take a look. One of the latest trends in landscaping is water gardens, and what better place to be than the Dave Peebler residence here in Derby.
Thanks a lot for being here, Norman. We enjoy having you.
Okay. Why have a water garden?
I think there's a lot of reasons and different reasons for different people, but I think the one common denominator is that people find it very stress relieving, not stressful, but stress relieving. And I think the sound of the water appeals to people, the movement of the water, and certainly if you have fish in your pond, why the movement of the colors of the fish is certainly fun to watch and is a relaxing thing also.
Okay.
Also, it does add something to your landscaping, I think, and we feel like it just adds another room to your home.
How would someone get started with a water garden?
Well, I think one of the best things, and what worked for us at any rate, was to attend a tour. We have tours in Wichita, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, see what other people have done in their yards. Certainly the libraries are full of books on the subject, or you can purchase books at the bookstores. Belonging to a water garden club is certainly a good idea, and share experiences and probably all the things you shouldn't do from us that have already done the wrong things and get off to a better start that way.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about size and depth, because the depth is probably the more critical thing in putting in a water garden.
In Kansas, Norman, if you want your plants and your fish to survive through the hard winters we sometimes have, I would think you would want your pond at least a minimum of 3 feet deep. Would be sufficient, although some of us with larger fish and more valuable fish might even go 5 or 6 foot deep. But 3 feet is a good depth.
Now, with the water gardens, let's talk about size, because a lot of times people think about, oh, maybe a 10 by 10 as a very large size, but once you get started, it's really not.
No, and one of the big mistakes that I see people do is many times build their first pond too small. And then they're out trying to buy more plants and more fish, and then first thing you know, they're building another pond. But it just, whatever the person's yard is going to handle, some people will enjoy a pond that's 4 foot by 5 foot, and that would be great. Other people want that 12 by 10 foot pond. It just kind of depends on what they want. Also, they need to decide whether they want a formal type of pond that's going to be the circular pond, like on a patio with a fountain in it, or a rectangular, or do they want a natural pond? Most of the ponds in our area are built with a natural look, like at the Ozarks or the Rocky Mountain influence, probably.
Now I see that you have a natural stream here, and it looks like Mother Nature did it.
Right, and that's certainly what we want to accomplish, and I might add that people building their pond for the first time should consider adding a stream or a bog where the water flows through either one of those into their pond, as it will be a great natural filter to keep their water quality and keep their fish and plants much healthier.
Okay, you mentioned filters. Is that important?
It can be if you're going to really be into the fish part of the hobby, particularly the Japanese koi, the fish that are going to weigh several pounds or more. You have to keep the water quality high for them. And on the other hand, a person that's more into just the water gardening with plants, they can have half a dozen goldfish in a medium-sized pond and be just fine.
Okay, thanks Dave for visiting with us, and back to the studio.